What's up, Sassy Gamers? Welcome to Got Our Attention Podcast, Season 3, Episode 19. I am your host, Mike. I'm alongside Day Drinker ATL, or Kelly, Phoenix Nova, or Brian. And we're here to talk to you today about PAX 2023. If you are not familiar with PAX at all, it stands for Penny Arcade Expo. And what it is a huge convention held in a couple places around the world. We're showcasing all of the new indie developers, large developers like Microsoft or Nintendo, things like that. Microsoft actually wasn't here this year, but Nintendo was, along with tabletop, board games, card games, all in the same building, and talk about a lot of stuff to do and a lot of stuff to catch up with, not even including the panels and everything else that also comes with most conventions. So a lot to unpack today, so hang tight with us. It's going to be a wild ride, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our experiences and some of our favorite things. So that is the show today. So thanks for watching. We'll see you later. No, I'm kidding. So PAX 2023, we actually attended all 4 days. It's a 4-day event. This one started on Thursday this year, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We flew in on Wednesday, got kind of our bearings along the ground, checked into our hotel, all that fun stuff. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was just the event ongoing from basically 10:30 in the morning till about 6, p.m. for the expo floor. And then it carried on for tabletop and all of that stuff until about, I think it was 11. So
I actually had a guy asking me if he could buy my 4-day pass because he forgot to buy a 4-day pass on Sunday, or the Sunday pass. And I said, I wanted to keep my badge, and and I was like, actually, I'm supposed to be giving this to a friend, and he was like, oh, okay, and I was like, that was the dumbest. I was literally with my luggage waiting for my lift, worst liar ever.
That's sad. You lied.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I get that. I mean, I collect all the ones. I don't know what I just said there, but I collect all the ones that I go to different events. And I have them all basically on the same lanyard all year until the event happens. And then I take the rest of them off because for now that works, but that's going to eventually run out of time once that little clasp gets a little tight with all the other ones hanging on it. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So the first thing I would say is what was your favorite card game or tabletop game? And I'll start this one off. So favorite card game, tabletop game. I have two, and I say two because one is a fast paced.
Because you can't have a favorite.
Right. Mainly because it's a fast paced game in the sense of you're drinking around friends and you just want to hang out. And then I have a tabletop game that actually is more of a setup and build and play. But the first one is called Swearmints. If you've never heard of it, it's actually by the same makers of Cheer Up, and it's the same guy, and it's pretty awesome. It comes in a little pack that looks like Altoids or something. Actually, if you're watching the video, Kelly has the box up there, and there's two versions. There's a green and a red. Green is family sort of friendly, and then red is kind of risque. The good part about it, yeah, I like that one. The good part about it is they can both be played in the same game. So if you want to spice up your game, you can literally play both decks. So that's what we did. And it comes up with some really crazy words. Actually, shout out to Vinny from Able Gamers for coming up with Ninny Tickle.
Ninny Tickle?
We'll have to figure out some other way to talk about what the definition of that word was. But let's just say it was a great word that he made up from this game, and it was pretty awesome. So that's my fast-paced game. My favorite one that I played that was longer paced is called I had the name until I thought about it. There's something about the shuffle. God, what is it?
Stone shifting? Get out of my fucking head.
The
okay,
shuffle.
Never mind. Okay.
The Big Shuffle. That's what it's called. The Big Shuffle. I remembered it. I did not look it up. I actually Notepad just forgot to write that one down. But it's called The Big Shuffle, and it's based on the 1920s, and you are trying to figure out the who, the what, and the when. Almost kind of like Clue in a sense, you're trying to figure out who did what, where, and with what weapon or whatever. So the problem is everybody is trying to play trying to figure out their motive too, like trying to get the scenery that they want to have the win. There's also a group win. So if that one happens and you discover it on your turn, then you win from that card as well. So there's that whole aspect of trying to manipulate the board by, getting other people to do things, and you can throw in cards to like deflect and different stuff. It's very similar to like Uno in that sense. Like there's reverse card, like kind of like reverse cards. There's like tack 2 on, like there's a goon card that kind of modifies your thing. But anyway, it was a really cool game. I talked to the developer for a little bit. He was, or one of the creators actually, because there's 2 of them. And it was just a really neat thing. We actually picked up the whole lot. Like they had the big package. I can't remember what it was called, but we bought the game, the expansions, the actual playing mat, came with a poster and like pins. So it was really cool, but that was probably my favorite tabletop. Both.
Cool.
My favorite.
Brian, do you want to go?
Mine was probably Big Ham, or excuse me, the Game of Ham.
Did you say baked ham?
For Big Ham, because I was going off your big shuffle. So I mean, the easiest way to say it is it's Cards Against Humanity. They found a way to make it a little worse. There was actually a card that I played that Zycia's partner refused to say out loud.
Yeah, and when he says worse, not saying the game is bad. We're saying worse in the sense of the content that you read off these cards are pretty bad.
And that alone makes it, kind of interesting, because then you get this Cards Against Humanity clone. But the nice thing is it's not even a clone of Cards Against Humanity. You have a game board that it's on reversible tiles. You can hook up the tiles in different ways, so your game board can change each time you play. You have a goal to get from one end to the other. You have to land exactly on the goal piece, so sometimes even if you're the first one there, it doesn't mean you're going to win.
Oh.
So you can overshoot it. You have to land exactly on it.
First guy there, I went back and forth a million times and then I lost.
Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting thing. Also, an interesting thing is one of the big differentiators, because it's a board game, is that Cards Against Humanity, you just rotate the judge around, right? Well, this specifically does it that if you win that turn, you're now the judge. So you can't move your token in back-to-back turns. So it allows other people to be able to get in there and, move their tokens up. And then there's, since it's a board game, if you land on certain squares, you can pick up these cards that can do things like force the judge to choose a different winner.
Or choose you as the winner, which is my favorite part about
also
that game.
Lost on that turn. I won that turn and then I lost that turn. But don't worry, second place also lost that turn because said person played 2 cards to make sure that they won.
Yeah, because one of the cards is that you can play 2 answers.
Okay.
But even with all these cards, as you win turns, because like Cards Against Humanity, you get like the question card to like keep track of your points in Cards Against Humanity, but you don't need it for points in this because it's a board game. You have to go to the end. It doesn't matter how many turns you win. You have to land exactly on that square. So they then change the use of those cards. Instead of tracking points, they have the letters H, A, and M on the different cards. And any time that you have 3 cards that spell ham that you have not previously used this effect, you can then partially or fully negate one of the cards that someone else played. So if someone played, you must choose me or something like that, they can ham it up and say, nope, you're not allowed to do that. And then that goes back to the judge to do whatever they're supposed to do. But you can only do that once for a set of 3 cards. So you'd have to have another set of 3 cards that spell out ham to be able to do that another time. So it's got, and these are just touching on the base mechanics. There are rules that we have not read yet. That's
very true.
There's symbols on these cards that we didn't use or know what they meant.
To be fair, the manual of the game comes with a quick start guide that says if you want to learn the game fast, or if you're just a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fair that we didn't read all the rules
Should I go
yet.
get the game so we can show it? I should have brought that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
The last thing that I'll say about it is that the answer cards have this little itty bitty subtext on them that you can like read. And sometimes it gives you more information, like more factual information. Sometimes it's just a funny little quip about the thing that you read. So there was stuff that Mike was like, okay, I read this and I just learned something new about like, in America, Samoa, that if a family has too many boys or too many girls in their family, that they'll purposely misgender a child like early and treat them as the other gender as they grow up.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually considered a third gender for them.
Wow.
Now that's what the card said.
And they have a name
done
for
the
it,
research to see if that's actually true or not. But it's just neat little things at the bottom of the card that make it really interesting.
Yeah. If it's not true, then kudos to the Game of Ham for fooling me.
Yeah.
And if
Making
not,
up
kudos
something
to them just
that
putting the game
seems
together.
plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
So, since most of the games I want to talk about have already been talked about, I also enjoyed stone shifting, which I know that Mike and
I think
Brian
it's
have
shifting
played before.
stones.
Shifting stones. Shifting? That's what I do with other stuff. Shifting stones. So you have 9 cards in front of everybody, and each card is a stone, and you can turn it over, and it's the alternate stone. The quickest, because I know we'll run out of time, the quickest way to explain it is you get a deck of cards in front of you. Everybody gets 5 cards, and you pick one card to shift the stones, but you can discard those other additional cards to actually move the stones. So you get 3 chances to move stuff, one of which is the ultimately the configuration of stones that you wanted, and then you get those points. But the cool thing is, if you the points on the cards range from really hard, 3 points, to 1 easier. But if you have 3 1-point cards, you get, if you have the most
at the end of the game
1-point cards at the end of the game, you get 3 extra points, which is a cool mechanic. So collecting those
that's
1
how
points is
the person
neat.
that won with us, I think, is how they won with the extra
That's
points,
part of how she did.
I had the most point wise, but with the other bonus they got, then obviously another game I lost. There's a reoccurring theme here. I'm starting to notice that I've lost a lot of games over the past weekend. Great.
I mean, get used to it, Mike.
Yeah. So, favorite demos. And I say demos in the sense of it could be a demo, could be a full-blown game that maybe you played that they already have it released there. Whatever that is for you, that's what I'm asking. But so the favorite thing that I played is actually interesting, was actually not at PAX, kind of. So we actually went to another event called, we went to this event last year as well. It's called Made in MA, so Made in Massachusetts. And what it is like a little networking event where they have a lot of the MIT students who are working on games, local developers that aren't necessarily, at PAX or even that large. Maybe they just want to showcase it there. We've even seen some larger labels, like CD Projekt Red has a subsidiary that is out of Boston, and they make games like Fire in the Flood and something Drake, I think it was. So anyway, we've been to this event before. It's really cool, just to kind of meet people, shake hands, and just check out other things. And it's funny, the game that I liked from this event the most was probably the least, I wouldn't say prepared game, but the least, I guess, graphically and everything. It was very basic. It was a very basic game. One guy, he was telling us about it. And what was neat about this game is it's a perspective playing game. So it starts off in, like, let's say 2D. You see your character like a platformer running from left to right. When you get to the end, there's a brick wall and you can't run through it. And you're like, what the heck? Well, and you click the space bar, it changes the perspective from 2D to like, let's say 3D. So now what used to be a wall, because it's a flat plane that your character can't run through, well, now the wall has shifted, and now you can see that that wall is actually the ceiling. And all you have to do now is just walk underneath it. So it does this kind of thing over and over where there's like stairs and you don't realize there's stairs until you hit the button. And then there was a point where there was a puzzle that there was like 4 squares that if you went onto those squares and hit the button, it would take you to different levels. And there was a certain path you had to kind of do with going to each one of those 4 to get to the level to get the key, and then to get to the next level to actually walk through the exit. So it was just really interesting on that. And it was actually really cool. I really enjoyed that game. It kind of reminded me of an old game called IQ back on PlayStation, like OG PlayStation. But yeah, it was just a very basic game, but the mechanics and the puzzling was so good that I was like really impressed. So
what was the name of the game?
I don't even know if he had a name for it. He said he could go to his itch.io personal. We'll have to go look that up, and maybe we'll put it in the video later. But yeah, I think it's on itch.io for free, potentially. I don't even know, but it was really cool. So that's mine.
Cool. Brian?
I mean, I have a lot of other games I liked, but...
Well, I'd say my favorite was Beyond Beast, which was very early, very, very early. Like, they literally, the developer was manually initiating the next stage in many cases. It was that early of an alpha. But it's cool because it's about 4 of these animal kids that hunt and defeat demons. And the gameplay is pretty standard. You got a kid, and each kid has different, weapon and attack style. It's mostly top down with a little bit of 3/4 perspective on it. And you're like running around this hallway, and there's these like hands, like thing, jumping out and running towards you, and you bap them around and stuff like that. And that seemed okay. And then there was about halfway through, all of a sudden, everything stops, and you're in Nana's kitchen. And Nana's like, "Oh, I'm sure you kids are hungry from defeating all those demons." And you can, with a joystick, you just move your head around, and you're just slamming your head around the other, and then you're pulling the trigger, and you're like yelling. And you just do this for a little bit for fun until what she does is she serves up some treats to you. And the treats are upgrade perks like Chain Lightning or 1 free revive if you die. And so you had this ability to improve your character. And again, so far, still pretty a standard game. And you get to the boss battle.
Standard for Brian.
No, I mean, that's a pretty standard game. It's just like 4 people doing a beat 'em up. I mean, that's a pretty standard formula is what I'm saying. I mean, whether you're placing kids with something else or demons with like thugs, it's the same concept. But they get to the boss, and the boss is called Mr. Peekaboo. And Mr. Peekaboo has got his hands over his face. You can see just one eye. And then all of a sudden he's just, and he throws his hands out, and he's got this huge mouth with teeth in it. And then he comes out, and his whole body is made of interconnected hands, and his transportation is a whole bunch of hands underneath of him that are moving around. So that was creepy and getting a little more out there, but still kind of ended up being like a standard boss battle. You attack him, you bring him down. And mind you, I say kind of standard, but still fun and a quirky art style, which really caught your eye. The thing that went just over the edge, just brought it home, and it was awesome, is after you beat the boss down all the way down to his last hit point, he goes into enraged mode, and he chases after you down hallways. And well, when your characters run, they don't just run. They run and scream at the same time. You see all these little A's come, they're going, ah, so running down the hallway. And you're running it. There's like obstacles, and it's very much like a couple of games where some of the platformers where you're like running away from a big boulder coming down at you, stuff like that. And you got to jump over stuff. And and run around stuff and break through things. And it was nice because you had turn corners, and all the while, this giant thing with big bug eyes and hands on either side of its mouth are just charging down at you, and which is all part of the goal because you're trying to get him back to basically the reverse of summoning, a banishing circle.
Oh, okay.
That you'd set up right in the beginning, and you just forgot about it when you went to play the game. And you get them back to the banishing circle, and then everybody's got to scream. They got to hold down the yell button, and then they banish the demon. And just everything all together, even just in the basic state that it was in, was just good, fun times. Couch co-op, 4 people. Technically, I guess you could play 1, but it just wouldn't be nearly as fun. But it was very early state, very fun.
Awesome. So, I really enjoyed Goons Legend of Mayhem. We played it very briefly. I love
awesome.
hockey. It was a 4-player hockey game, and I was like, I was in Boston. We were watching the Bruins play. Everything was great. So it was like totally in the zone, and I was like, yes. So I will definitely be playing that one when it comes out. I also
shout
really
out to my partner who won because
yeah.
And I say partner in the sense of like Day Drinker was my teammate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So I also I got to watch a lot of demos that I didn't play, and one of the ones I really liked watching was Die by the Blade, and it was a like samurai slasher. Like you cut off. So Mike and Brian played that game, and I got to watch it, and they would slice off a head, and it was like splurting blood, and an arm splurting blood, and I was like, "This I want to play." As well.
Actually, that game is, I would say, like very strategic because there was no room for error in this game. Like one false move, and the other person can counter you and literally chop your head off. Like there was one hit that I hit Brian for that literally, like, I think I slashed your head off, and then later on you did it to me. Like you blocked like 2 of my moves and just stabbed me or something. I was just like, "Whoa, okay."
I would say it's a spiritual successor to Bushido Blade, which is a much older game that does some of those concepts, and it had very much like one wrong move and you were toast.
Done.
Yeah, it was fun. I did enjoy playing
the true lethality of an edged weapon.
Yeah. Brian, what was your favorite panel?
There was a panel about making puzzles better. And I went to it thinking it was just a panel, just like you sit in the audience and you'd listen to these, people talk about, making puzzles and better puzzles. It ended up being a workshop, and everybody went into groups of 5. Well, surprising to me, it apparently said, "This is a workshop" in all caps at the top of the description.
Yeah, I saw that.
But they sold me at the title. I didn't even look at the description. You went into groups of 5, and you were presented a bad puzzle. And it's like, oh yeah, here's this puzzle. There's spokes of a wheel on the door. That's the lock. And you see symbols on the spokes that correspond to the 8 different schools of magic. And you have to cast, a spell from each of these 8 schools of magic, and that unlocks the lock. Oh, by the way, you can only do it in 1 minute or it resets. And so then they gave every group 5 minutes. Okay, what are all the problems you see with this puzzle? Like things like, oh, it's hard to cast that many spells in a minute because it was 6-second casting times being some of the smaller ones. You're really limited. Or, oh, it would really be a bummer for, your party to destroy 8 of your spell slots just to get a door open. Who knows what's on the other side of it, and you don't have as many spell slots. Or maybe you don't even have people in your party that can cast some of those schools of magic. So it's an instant fail. And then they passed a mic around to different tables. They talked about it, and then they gave everybody 5 minutes. Okay, now how would you make it better? Like, what would you change to make it a better puzzle? Oh, things like get rid of casting spells, like change it to different objects that you find somewhere in the area around you, even backtracking a bit, or making different, something that opens the door that's hidden behind different challenges that challenge different types of players in your party. And also making a role-playing element that's not just opening a door. Like, why do you want to open the door? What can you see something on the other side of it that you need to get to there, and bring in the role-playing aspect of it for some people as well. So it was a real fun panel. They went through 3 different types of puzzles: mechanical, riddle, and I forgot what the other type was. Like a physical, like you actually, as a player, given something by the DM to do, like dice to form a pattern or something like that. And so it was very interesting seeing the different types, and then just how people solved bad puzzle mechanics, made them better.
Sweet. What was your favorite panel, Kelly?
I really enjoyed the panel about parenting and kids and gameplay, and I know that's probably yours as well. So this will help.
Well, was parenting a new gamer, or
yes.
Basically, you have a kid and they're a gamer. Like, how do you parent that to be okay or whatever?
Yeah. So whatever. The panelists initially started off with, does do first-person shooters and violent games actually make your kid violent? And they went into all of this research that initially tried to say yes, it does, but debunked itself. And so they talked about all of that. Also talked about, maybe don't say gaming isn't bad. Don't make a gaming like a reward. Make gaming beneficial for everybody in the family. And the coolest thing that like blew my mind was like, your child gaming can also make you happier too. And so while you're cooking dinner, your child can game, and it doesn't have to be like a punishment. It shouldn't be punitive to take a game away. If you're making it, part of your everyday life, then fit it in where it should be fit in. And you keep hearing, screen time is bad, screen time. As a parent of first graders, I have always been told, like, limit your screen time. And when you go to the doctor, they're like, well, how many hours of screen time do they get? And I'm like, well, at home, not much. But they're like, but at school too, because that's included in that. And I'm like, then you're like panicking because they're on computers a lot at school,
and tablets and all that stuff nowadays.
Yeah, any sort of screen. So it actually made me feel a bit better about the amount of screen time they have and what they're doing on those screens, and if they're able to pull back from those screens, being able to teach your kid while you're playing with them that it's okay to lose. That is a technique that you learn while playing sports ball. So, it gave me a very different perspective. I didn't think playing games was negative. I do see some negative aspects of it, but as far as like, wanting to continue, not being able to let go, but I have the same struggles, and I have to let go and being able to teach your child that. So I
liked one of the things to tie into what you said earlier about like, having some screen or game time especially game time while like you're cooking. I thought one of the nice things that they mentioned was, and that also can be used to continue your social relationship with your kids,
Yeah.
because if you keep it in a public place, it's something that you can see while you're cooking. And while you're cooking, you can like glance over and go, oh, it looks like you got past that really difficult puzzle. Can you tell me how you did that? That's really interesting. Or if they're starting to get really frustrated and mad, then it's something like, oh, it sounds like you're getting a little heated over there with this boss battle. Why don't you put down the controller and like jog up and down the hallway a couple times and work that out and then get back to it, and maybe you'll have a better luck. And constructively guiding that screen time.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, and you guys have already touched on all of it really, but it was basically like, treat it as a part of every single day, like keep a consistent routine and don't use it as punishment. And like one of the things they said, or reward in the sense, but was like,
don't remove it as punishment.
Yeah. Like basically, well, you want to play video games? Well, you better go do your homework. Better have that homework done before you start playing video games.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, what is the kid probably going to do? And I know this from at least experience in my side. Go do your homework. I'm going to do my homework as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Which is probably not going to be great. And I'm going to go play video games. So instead of having that basically being the if then kind of situation, if you just fit it into your day, like you said, cooking, like, well, they know during when mommy or daddy's cooking, they can just play this game. And like you said, talk to them and be social, interacted with them. And that's great. Like it was a really cool eye-opening, I think, for all three of us. And it was just, new parent, fairly, experienced parent at this time. And you have someone like Phoenix who doesn't have any kids. So it's like, if from all three of us, literally we all learned something. And I think they did a really good job presenting, and with the presentation and everything too, it was really good.
And the philosophies behind it too is like, so what do you love? It doesn't have to be gaming, but what you love and what you think your child will love, it's like, don't take that happy thing away, whether it's gaming or not. So you can take the same philosophies of, the non-punitive relationship between, something. Don't make it a reward, make it, oh, well, let's all do this together and learn from it. And like you said, don't run through something too fast. And it was really cool.
So, favorite cosplay. What was y'all's favorite cosplay? And Phoenix, you can't say Joker.
No, well, I mean, actually, one of my favorite was Joker, because I ran into Joker from Persona 5.
Oh, cool.
Actually saw two of them, which is not the DC Universe Joker for those that are not familiar. He is Persona 5 is much more anime based than anything else, and it's not an anime version of DC's Joker. It's a completely different character. But no, I think my favorite was, there was this guy, and I honestly don't know what the cosplay was, other than it was just this fantastic robot, and probably even anime robot. He had like these 3 fins coming off the back of both of his arms, and like he would squat down in a particular position anytime that it was a picture. So he was obviously mimicking something from the source material. It was like really dark black with like red highlights on it and edges. And
this is the one that was really big, right? Like really tall and everything.
No, this guy.
Oh,
was
this is
not
a different
tall.
one then. Okay.
Yeah, it's a different one. I know the one you're talking about. I think I got video of that one too.
Yeah, I was like, all that stuff
walked away. But it's just really, really great looking costume.
What about you, Kelly?
So mine wasn't technically a cosplayer, but Dead Island 2 was being demoed, and they had 3 booths where you could go up and do a ring toss, spin a wheel, or throw bean bags at like zombies or something. And they had a whole like zombie motif, but Phoenix was playing ring toss, and the guy who was like picking up the rings was like definitely the undead. And in fucking character the whole time, and was picked up the rings and handed them back to him, and like, so my award for best cosplay, because they were in character the whole time, was that guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be this girl that was doing Mei Ling from Metal Gear Solid. She was dressed the part, so just like military grade,
Yes.
like class A's or whatever. And then she had a sign with the Kodak with Mei Ling on one side and Snake on the other, and like some kind of message in the middle. But she was, I mean, I saw that, and literally, I think I was with you guys, and I stopped and I was like trying to film her, like, or take a picture of her. Yeah. And I was like blocking traffic. I was doing everything you're not supposed to do at PAX. Like, you're not supposed to like stop traffic to do anything. And I was trying not to, but I was trying to take her photo, but I was trying to take a couple. And then like people are trying to, I was just like, oh God, this is terrible. But anyway, I got the photo, but she is really cool. That was my favorite by far. I guess mostly because of history, because I love that game. But yeah. So yeah, that was basically that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, if you haven't been to PAX before, this is another thing that you can kind of look out for, because like my wife wasn't like super thrilled about going to PAX. I mean, she plays Nintendo. She was definitely like super into Nintendo, Zelda, and all that stuff like that, Mario. So when Nintendo announced, she was like, okay, cool. Skyrim. I'm kind of excited about going, sort of now, you know. But when we got there, she found something that she hooked onto, which is called PAX XP. And PAX XP is a thing they do every year. And what it is like kind of like a scavenger hunt around the convention. And what you do now is, like, your badge, your literal badge you get in the mail for your entry, on the back of it, there's a little QR code, and that's tied to your account. And if you get the app and you set it all up, there's like these little kiosks everywhere you go, throughout PAX, like hidden. Some of them are even hidden. There's literally one that has a sign, and it says, "This is a sign."
That one. No. It said, this is a double-sided sign. This sign is double-sided. And it was the white side of the sign. On the back, it said in little like black letters, "This sign is double-sided." And it's like, the fuck is that?
So then, of course, you look at the other side, there's the QR code that you need for this certain badge. So the whole thing is, there's like multiple badges you need to collect. And you don't have to do this, 30? But if you're a person like me who wants to be a completionist and gather everything, also my wife, you kind of spend most of your day running around trying to collect these things. Or
most of one day.
Yeah. Or discovering them as you go places. Like, oh crap, there's the one right there, get that one.
Oh my God, guys, guess where this one is?
Yeah, so that was really cool.
Oh my God, guys, guess where this one is?
The one thing with that I will say, though, is a couple of those badges don't even release until the last day. So, like, if you don't attend all days, you can't even get all the badges. Now, granted, if you don't, you only need, like, I think 7 or 5.
I think the Omegathon one probably was at the Omegathon events leading up to it.
I think so, too. Yeah, because other people
No, they don't put it out. There was 3. And then the 4th one would be the last day. That one did not show up, because we checked multiple times. Did not show up until the last game.
Here's the deal: other people won medals.
They won separately.
Got the cups.
Correct.
What?
So again, you only needed like 7 of the badges to win.
Oh, bullshit! Oh, yes. Then I could have fucking got my cup. Oh,
we got the cups. But we didn't get the medals. So the medals only have like 100. So you have to do that pretty quickly. This is obviously the things that we found out later, because we were like, what the heck, you know? But the other part of this too is...
Okay, PAX.
Yeah. Make sure she's got you. The other thing that they did this year is, since the big sponsor of PAX this year was DoorDash. They did a lot of promotion with that. Like, even our keys to get into the Westin, everything was DoorDash everything. Oh my God. Some of the badges were DoorDash badges. And there was 4 of them specifically, which were around like eating and being like, nourished. Like, there was water, having food, I think snacks, and then something else. But so those 4 badges were separate from the other, 9 or whatever you were collecting. Yeah, exactly. Because those 4, if unlocked, you could go to the DoorDash prize tower and then scan your badge again to potentially win something out of the tower. And there was like a Xbox Series X in there. There was like, gift cards and They were giving out like little pins and everything. And so the final day, we did all that. We went up there and scanned it, and I got nothing. And then my wife won this really awesome like little video game controller pin. And I was like,
the DD.
I wanted that. But no, that was really cool. Like something, and that kind of helped her experience. It gave her something to do. Like, especially like this is a large convention. She's been to larger ones in the past, but not focused like on gaming and stuff. Mm-hmm. So being new to the scene, that was something really great for her to latch onto to kind of give her some direction. And then she filled in the space with, some panels you want to check out, or maybe some games to check out. So it was really cool. So I would definitely recommend that for anybody that's into that kind of thing to check that out if you ever do attend. So really, really neat.
Oh, that's fun.
But yeah, I mean, that unfortunately, that's literally like all the time we have, because we could talk about this for probably like, I don't know, probably another hour and a half. We have so much footage. I mean, so much footage to go through. I mean, 4 days worth of footage. Like we were basically copying files over every night to try to like stay with the SD cards. So we have a lot of videos coming. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to tell you all about them, but I can't yet. You'll see them soon. But definitely check out some of the other videos that we've got up. We put out a bunch of shorts during the con.
Right there.
Yeah, check out anywhere.
Check out my short that nobody watched.
Yeah, so we did a bunch of shorts.
It was the funniest one.
Funny. Thank you.
I liked it. But yeah, there's.
I liked you, Brian.
Oh my god.
We're also working on some setting up some interviews as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we did some interviews there. We got a lot of contact information for some to set up in the future. We finally got to interview the Game of Ham, which I can't wait to put that one out.
Yes.
Because they were at Atlanta Comic Con as well. And we just didn't have the time to kind of cover that one at the time. But we did catch them this time. So we have that interview. I mean, there's just so much, like I said, footage to go through, B-roll. I mean, if you're into cosplay and you cosplayed there, definitely wait for our video. You may see yourself if you saw us. So definitely check that out. But until then, this is how we say goodbye. So we love you guys. This has got our attention this week. And check us out on Patreon, SAS Gaming, YouTube.com, SAS Gaming, everything SAS Gaming, unless it's Twitter or something else like SAS Gamers. You'll find it. So until next time, you guys take it easy. See ya.
Peace.